So, a few deep breaths, because that's how we stabilize ourselves, isn't it? You'll notice throughout this practice, we'll come back to the breath simply because it's one of the most simple tools available to us at all times. Perhaps our most precious of gifts, more precious than water, more precious than food, more precious than all of the riches that we have around us, our breath. And despite the breath always being here with us, beside us, within us, the only difference at this moment being the amount of attention that we are giving to it. Our level of awareness rising to take in the different sensations that accompany every breath. I'll now ring the bell. And just as I was telling a few people who came to the temple yesterday, they asked before the practice began, should we remove our shoes? Should we leave our shoes outside the room? And we returned back to how the removal of the shoes is symbolic of us releasing the stories, our past, our responsibilities, our guilt, our frustrations, even our joys, entering into this space devoid of any expectation. As always, we spend a few moments simply arriving. And at the beginning of a practice, it's sometimes useful to revisit the essence of this practice. How sages, hundreds, thousands of years ago, how they acknowledged that our the minds will continue to operate no matter what the personalities, that which some writers and teachers refer to as the ego, will continue to exist. And many practitioners, they begin to turn the ego and the mind into an enemy, something that needs to be suppressed, to be fought against. But instead, in today's practice, we begin by acknowledging it as a friend. How it is a friend that we will use as a tool in this practice. It is this ego that, this mind that we used to find this practice, to learn about meditation, to learn all that we know. And these very same sages, when they were introducing their students to this practice, they asked the students to divide existence into three parts. The first we shall refer to as the earth, which includes everything that we can see, everything that we can hear, smell, taste, and experience through our sense of touch. Our bodies, our clothing, our homes, all of the plants, the animals, this planet we call Earth, our home, the stars, the moons, this world of matter. The first part, just wriggle your toes, move your fingers, feel what it feels like to inhabit this body of matter. And we can tell that this body, it's arrived here in front of these computer screens, on these chairs, on these mats. Each and every one of us experiencing our own unique, very special present moment. Just like the sun experiences its own present moment. At this moment with solar flares and whatnot, the stars, the comets, the blades of grass, the grains of sand, all experiencing their own present moment. That is assuming you believe that there is consciousness within them. And now the sages refer us to the second part of our existence, that which we refer to as the mind. And as you shine the spotlight of your attention and awareness on the mind, you will notice how it still moves, how the mind, with practice, it begins to join you in the present moment. It begins to align itself into the present moment, but mostly momentarily, as it then visits the past and the future, sometimes holding on to the past so much so that we complain about aspects of our present moment. If a car alarm goes off outside your window, you have memories of what quiet and silence felt like. and you want to go back into the past. You push against the sound, the person talking loudly on the mobile phone, and so on. Can you see how the mind truly is a separate entity with a life of its own? Traveling great distances in a glimpse, traveling through time in a glimpse. Take a deep breath, allowing the breath to ground you a little bit more deeply into the present moment so that you may objectively observe these movements from the present moment. And then there is that third aspect of existence which the sages speak of. That which they do not attempt to label, that which they do not attempt to name, that which they simply refer to as that, that which is beyond the reach of my five senses, that which is beyond the reach of my mind, that which cannot be grasped by my mind or my senses, that which is beyond. It is this part which we have been tapping into and experiencing. When we experience that stillness, that kindness, that oneness, that no longer seeks to divide or separate, that one beingness, presence, awareness. That is beyond form, that is beyond the mind. That includes and moves through and pervades every single one of us sitting in these different geographical locations. that reaches the highest peak and the deepest depths of the oceans. That moves through every blade of grass and every grain of sand. That transcends the suns and the moons and the stars. And beyond. That, just that. We return back to our bodies. Our bodies, which we will now use as our doorways into this space beyond time, beyond geographical space. Using our five senses as our doorways into that timeless state called the present moment. I bring you back to your breath. Let the spotlights move inward towards the nostrils and then within the nostrils into the nasal passage, where the interaction between the cells of your body and the air that gets drawn into your body interact. Try to turn this into a very simple exercise. Just the most basic of sensations. You don't have to use elaborate words. Become a child, knowing warmth, knowing coolness, perhaps crispness, even humidity. Experience that which we often refer to as direction of the air flowing in and up the nasal passage, down and out, stroking the upper lip with warmer, more humid air. Remember, on a practical note, you don't have to restrict your practice to the breath. The reason we use the breath, the reason many facilitators use the breath as a tool to bring practitioners into the present moment is simply because most of us have very few opinions about the breath. We neither like it too much, nor do we push against it, nor do we dislike it, because we've just come to coexist with it, knowing that it is always there, quite neutral about this flow. And my reason for bringing your attention to this is because at times you will be walking, always you will be listening. A meditation, a practice can simply mean the refocusing towards something similar to the breath, something neutral, something neither too interesting nor distressing. Like the sound of the fridge or the freezer always humming away in the background. Sometimes in a busy street, there may even be chaos, but then there are the gaps of silence, or there may be the hum of traffic in the background, or a plane, or the rustling of leaves, which we can then intentionally focus our attention upon, moving beyond the crying babies and the honking and the footsteps, and listening, listening, listening to your present moment. In this present moment, can you find a sound that means nothing to you? And when I say means nothing to you, I mean you neither like nor dislike it. It's just a neutral sound. Listen to the bell in the foreground. And as the sound waves fade into your background, what can you hear? And with the sense of sight, it can be a flower, a leaf, a pebble, a brick, anything. The practice being to see whilst releasing judgment, labeling, seeing and breathing, seeing and sitting, or seeing and walking, or seeing and running. Back to your breath. I don't know what your practice is like today. It could be a good practice. It could be a bad practice. But let's move beyond that now, shall we? Be the witness, the presence that is aware that it is a good practice, which more often than not simply means that the mind has started to slow down its thought process, its momentum has simply started to slow down like a fan that's been turned off. Step outside of the fan. Don't get too attached to this experience that your mind is labeling to be a good practice. And perhaps some of you are having what what the mind would refer to as a bad practice. Thoughts popping up left, right, and center. But with the ringing of this bell, let that not matter. Be the awareness, aware of that which is being labeled a bad practice, which more often than not simply means the mind moving, sometimes quite violently and turbulently. But here's the bell again. So that if you felt like you were identified with the blades of a fan that was spinning on full power. Lower yourself, or rather, separate yourself from these blades. Notice how the rotating blades, they blow a beautiful breeze upon your body. How the moving mind can be enjoyed from this space of stillness. Experience the emotions that may be arising as a result of the images within the fan. Reminding yourself that they are either from the past or the future, and do not need to be acted upon, but they can be experienced. It might be grief, anger, sadness, anxiety. Almost as though this was a game where once you allowed yourself to experience, you would never need to return back to it. Allowing it to flow through every cell of your body, noticing those parts of the body that may be tightening, the knots, the breathing, the rhythm of the breath. But with the ringing of the next bell, letting these sensations, which are really what emotions are, the body's translation of thoughts, of memories, of the present moment, filtered through belief systems, past pains. The next bell, allowing your body to dissolve into that space, that space, that beingness, that kindness, that wisdom and silence beyond the mind and all of its hurts, pains, receiving yourself as you truly arrive into the one and only moment. present moment. This brief practice, it is an important practice that will help us to make peace with our emotions. Emotions that no longer need to be suppressed and held underneath the surface, that may now be experienced without the physical, verbal, and other reactions that we have become so identified with. Every arising an opportunity for that which is underneath to surface, an opportunity to now release, an opportunity to begin, a new beginning, a new start. Let this next intake of breath represent truly represent a new beginning. The next out breath, a complete releasing and letting go. Anchoring, grounding, arriving into this space where there is no past, where there is no future, where there is no longer a need for words such as forgiveness, for that which we refer to as the past, no longer exists. Can you experience this space? How every feeling of loneliness and separateness now seems alien. For there is a completeness, one free of gaps that need to be filled through shopping, relationships, awards, accumulations, or even images as to what good health should be like, or the perfect body shape should be like, or the perfect age should be like. With this, we move into a visualization practice. But before that, if you need to stretch, if you need a sip of water, if you need to move, please do so. Give yourself the flexibility and the kindness, which is the very reason you are here, to be kind to yourself. Having created this space, now bring into your mind's eye, when you are ready, the image of the mountain, the perfect mountain. I was using playful words. For every mountain sees itself to be perfect. And it is this quality that we seek to experience and tap into as we merge into this image. When I ring the next bell, relax your shoulder muscles, loosen your neck muscles, find your spinal column, and turn your posture into one of balance and rest. Requiring the least effort. Find your chest muscles loosening, as do your back muscles, your chest, your back, your shoulders, and your neck, becoming the sides of this great mountain, this perfect mountain with its peaks and its ridges and its valleys and its vast surfaces. The core of this afternoon's practice is about arriving into this space where one no longer needs to compare one's self against your neighbors, against your siblings, or those images created by your parents and schools and teachers. Take in all of the qualities of this mountain, specifically its ability to appreciate its own perfection and place, rightful place and space amidst the other ranges. Start acknowledging the whole ecosystem of life contained within your form, within your body. If you can wriggle your fingers and feel your fingers, you know there are rivers of blood, nerves, bones, all connected within this ecosystem of life. Forming an indivisible part of your present moment. Release the temptation to name this life, to label it with a gender, your name, your status, your title, your work. Release all of that, knowing them to be like the clouds that move around the mountain. Notice how the clouds, sometimes they move so close to the peak and to the mountain that you forget, mistakenly believing yourself to be the mist and the clouds, experiencing anxieties and frustrations and sadness and all of the rest. But with the ringing of the next bell, take a deep breath in, lowering your center of gravity deep down into the crust of the earth. Reminding yourself of who you truly are, experiencing your true self, perhaps even allowing yourself to smile as the clouds simply brush against the peaks and move past one after the other. Soon you see stormy clouds approaching. Greet the clouds. Welcome the clouds, but notice the blue skies that now surround you. Knowing these blue skies to be transitory, moving, welcoming the clouds, experiencing the emotions, observing the emotions, witnessing the emotions. Your breath unchanged. Slow and deep. Taking in a breath, breathing in as deeply as you can. Breathing out as slowly and as gently as you can. Allowing each breath to center and ground you. As the storms move past, as the days turn into nights, as the seasons move from summer into autumn, winters and springs and cycles that continue. Experience yourself as the mountain that does not judge, that does not attempt to lengthen the springs or the summers simply because they bring about leaves and flowers and provide nourishment for the nesting birds. Be like the mountain, this great rock of awareness that allows the leaves to fall as summer passes into autumn, as winter approaches. Sitting, breathing, allowing every aspect of the present moment. Just spend a few moments experiencing this. allowing this experience to reach your very core. An experience that will now be your center of gravity, the center of your universe, that very center to which you need only allow yourself to gravitate back into. As we hear the final bell, which will represent a new beginning for each and every one of us. Thank you, my dear friends.
Thank you, Bernard.
Really appreciated practicing with you.
Thank you, Rita.
Have a beautiful day.
Wonderful.
Take care, my dear friends.
Bye,
Love to
everyone.
you. Hi, Janice.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye, Frank.